2015 belonged to Felix Hernandez. He pitched a Cy Young Award caliber game despite having what he said was a bad bullpen. He came out and dominated the Minnesota Twins. He was outstanding last night en route to his 24th complete game, his 10th shutout. These are the kinds of games that you remember for a long time. He was that good. Welcome, everybody, to Mariner Baseball. Glad to have you with us here in our broadcast booth at Safeco Field. Dave Sims and Mike Flowers. We were lucky last night to see another gem by the King.
You and I talk about it all the time, how fortunate we are to watch him work every fifth day, but there are some nights that are a little more special. And I thought he had a chance last night to throw a no-hitter. That's how good his stuff was last night. When he came out and punched out the side in the first inning, fastball command was there. We saw the good changeup. You just had to see, was the curve and slider going to be there for him? They certainly were, but consistently working off the edges, working ahead of hitters, and really competing last night. I thought he had a chance to do something really special. In the end, it was a complete game shutout, but I thought he had a chance for a no-hitter last night. That's how good he was.
Retired the first 14 men, and you can start feeling a little rumble. He's on his way again. You never know. Hey, time for our Lexus pitching matchup. We got a local kid, Trevor May, going against James Paxton, who's trying to get back to form that he showed in parts of last year.
I think that he just has to be aggressive with his fastball early in the game. You look at his last outing, 2 2/3, he gave up 10 hits. Too many pitches in the middle of the plate and falling behind. This is a young man that throws 95 miles an hour with one of the better breaking balls you're going to see. If things are going well for him, and he is right, you should see a lot of ground ball outs. He should be keeping the infielders real busy tonight.
Should be interesting as he is looking. We're not worried about mechanics. Lloyd McClendon, the manager, said, hey, just get out there like he told Taijuan Walker. Just get out there and compete. We'll see how it does today in the second game of this 3-game series. It's Iwakuma Bear Hat Night here at the ballpark. Big crowd, close to 30,000 expected. And we are glad you're with us here on Root Sports. We'll return with more of our pregame show right after this. Sports is brought to you by Alaska Airlines. Enjoy free entertainment on your personal device. Learn more at alaskaair.com. by your local Ford stores, by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. And by the Emerald Queen Casino, presenting White Snake Live, the Purple Tour, May 29th. For tickets, go to emeraldqueen.com. Earlier this afternoon, they closed the roof. The weather forecast wasn't real good. And it cast a little bit of a pall over Safeco Field. But now, skies have brightened. They pulled the roof back, and we are ready for action as we continue here in our pregame show. Twins and the Mariners, middle game of a 3-game set. Felix Hernandez, big star last night. But another star last night, Nelson Cruz. He hit a monster home run. 113 miles an hour off the bat. And this on a cold night. Wait till it gets hot. Maybe he's going to leave the building. Mike Blowers called it, and I'm in on that one, let me tell you. Felix Hernandez, what was his reaction to Cruz's mammoth blast?
Wow, unbelievable. He told me before the game that he was going to hit one.
Now, he said you asked for one.
No, I don't ask for 4. Just the day before yesterday, and I have asked for 3 to know.
So you'll settle for a couple?
Yeah. 1, I'll take 1.
Well, first of all, I guess it doesn't hurt to ask, does it? And that man right there leading the league in home runs with 9, ribbies with 18. Oh, by the way, he's just hitting .328 on top of all that, so more than just a slugger. As you see what Cruz has done this year compared to the Twins, the entire team just 8, Cruz with 9 now. But why not, Felix? Ask and see if that'll happen for you. Usually it's Mike Zunino that steps up for him. That's usually a pretty good combination. But Cruz, why not?
Absolutely. Nelson Cruz leading in slugging. And how about what Logan Morrison did last night? Got his first extra base hit. His season to this point could have been, I can't get no satisfaction until right now. First homer. Of course, I saw Logan afterwards. He says, a fan caught it. I said, I know, but you got the home run. That's what counts. He's on the board. The Mariners and Twins first pitch is straight ahead. Got some blue sky above us here at Safeco Field as we take you out to the left field entrance to this great ballpark. As Robinson Cano and the Mariners getting ready to take on the Minnesota Twins. Second game of a 3-game weekend set. Glad you've joined us here in Root Sports. We take a look At the Twins batting order, that will face young James Paxton.
For manager Paul Molitor, Dozier, the cleanup hitter last night, he's going to lead off in this one tonight. In the veteran Torrey Hunter hitting second. Maurer, Plouffe, and Vargas in the middle of the lineup. You can see what Plouffe has done. A 6-game hitting streak, including a couple of hits last night. Then it's Nunez, Suzuki, Escobar, and Robinson rounding out the 9 for the Twins. Take a look at Paxton and what he did last year. Won 6 games. ERA just over 3. Had 59 strikeouts in the 74 innings that he had worked. Opponents hitting .223 against James.
It's a big game for Paxton. Last time out, ball club took him off the hook. 2 2/3, 10 hits, 7 runs, all earned against Texas. Ball club came back to win 11-10. Here's Brian Dozier to lead it off. First pitch is in there for strike 1. Ted Barrett's got balls and strikes tonight. Sean Barber, the umpire at first. Angel Hernandez at second, and Scott Barry at third. Bouncing ball. Seager gets under his glove. Hoping they get the nice hop. Didn't happen. 8-5 on Seager.
And for the Mariners defense tonight, brought to you by American Family Insurance. You have Ackley in left field, Jackson in center, Seth Smith the starting right fielder, Kyle Seager at third, Miller and Cano playing up the middle, Logan Morrison at first, and Mike Zunino will do the catching.
Brings up the veteran Torrey Hunter. Of the starters, he's the only Twin who has previously seen James Paxton 1 for 5 of the homer.
Every now and then it's a nightmare for a third baseman, but it'll hit right on the cut of the grass, which is what happened to Kyle right there.
As Hunter did last night, struck out twice at the hands of Felix Hernandez. Paxton behind 2-0. Fly ball. Backing up Cano. Coming on late is the outfield. How about that play by Cano? Oh my goodness. Seth Smith in a panic made a late rush, but Cano had it all the way. Even though it looked like he lost it for a couple of seconds.
Well, Seth out in right field, he's in the sun, and he did not pick it up right. It was a late break, but Cano, that's about as casual as it gets. Over the shoulder catch. See Seth with the sunglasses on, but it's going to be trouble for him for the first couple of innings of the ball game till the sun sets down. But for Cano, what a good play. And the main thing about it too is on a ball like that, you know, oh, the outfielder probably has it, but he never gave up on the play and picked up Paxton with that catch.
Ball 1 to DH Joe Mauer and Seth Smith. As the pitch is about to be delivered, he's using the glove as extra sun shield. There we go. Runner goes. Throw by Zunino. Tails on him. And a stolen base for Dozier. Dozier's first steal of the season.
And we'll take a look at it. Pretty good jump by Dozier. The pitch in the dirt. Tough one to handle. That ball goes up the line.
First attempt for Dozier as well. Now 2-0 to Mauer.
Not surprised to see the Twins running early. They're trying to generate some sort of offense. They've really struggled here early in the season, and Paul Molitor putting the game in motion in the first inning.
Paxton misses, goes to 3-0. Twins offensively struggling, 22nd in the big leagues in batting average, 28th in runs, 29th in hits, 30th in home runs, and 30th in slugging. That was strike 3-1. Fourth start for Paxton at the Dodgers. He left after 6 1/3. Score tied at 5-5. That goes strike 3 and 2. He got a no decision in his last 2 starts and lost in his first game against the Angels back on the 7th of April. 3-2 to Mauer. And Joe's aboard.
Well, I think the message to him was pretty simple and clear, and it's probably along the lines of what they told Taijuan Walker. He has to get back to using his fastball, be more aggressive in the strike zone. Pitch inside certainly helps so that he can get to the good curveball and changeup when he wants to use it. And that is something that we were able to see from James last year. He's very consistent with that style of pitching.
Brings up third baseman Trevor Plouffe. Got the first hit against Felix last night in the 5th inning after Felix had retired the first 14 men. Plouffe wound up having a good night, 2 for 3, 2 of the 5 hits for Minnesota. Count evens at 1-1. Hottest hitter they have. That 6-game hitting streak. 1-1. Zanino not liking what he's seeing. 2 balls, 1 strike.
When you look at his splits, 13 pitches, only 5 strikes so far from James. And most of them fastballs. Fastball's been 91 to 93 miles an hour here in the first.
For 1 out. Runners at first and second. Pitch. Line drive, center field. Jackson boots it off his knee. And all the runners will move up a base. And the bases are loaded.
He hasn't been able to get much help from his defense here in the first. Kyle Seager making an error to lead things off, and then Jackson, usually sure-handed, he makes an error. This will be an E8 that goes off of his glove. So now the bases are loaded with just 1 out.
That is uncharacteristic. 2 errors in the inning loads him up for Kenny Vargas. 2nd error for Jackson this season. Infield double play depth. First pitch is strike to Vargas. 4 groundouts, including 3 of them comebackers to Felix Hernandez last night. Took a lot off. He's ahead 0-2. Boy, he could use a punch out. 0-2 here. And he got it. 2 outs.
He was able to get ahead of him with a good fastball, and then it was a couple of off-speed pitches down out of the strike zone that gets him to chase.
So 2 outs and the bases loaded here in the first inning. Brings up on Eduardo Nunez. Nunez in his 2nd season with the Twins. Came over from the Yankees. We had seen him 2 years ago with the Yankees. He had .260, 3 homers and 28 runs batted in part-time duty. Two 2-0 and nowhere to put Nunez. He's the 6th man to the plate here in the first inning. Big 2-0 pitch. 3-0. On deck hitters, veteran catcher Kurt Suzuki.
We talked about James and some of his struggles here to start the season. It's been his fastball command, and that's what we're seeing here in the first.
There's a strike at 3-1. Could be an inning make or break pitch right here. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 out, bases loaded. Paul Molitor, first-year manager, Hall of Famer. 3-1 pitch. And he walked it. 1-0 Twins. RBI for Nunez, his first of the season.
Typically he likes to pitch down in the zone, but right now his fastball is staying below the knees, and that's where some of his problems are going. It's not throwing it over the plate as much as the elevation of the fastball. A couple of errors, 2 walks and 2 errors certainly doesn't help.
Brings up Kurt Suzuki. Batting in the 7-hole, up his spot from last night. He looks at a strike. Kurt 1 for 3, an infield hit in the 6th inning last week. The 0-1 pitch. It's stopped by Zunino. 1-1. Can I trademark that? Nice stop by Zunino.
I think you can. Talk to Mike about it.
I'm going to get a piece of the action here. It was really good back there. 1-1. Center field. Jackson cruising back a few steps. And that'll do it. No runs, no hits, 2 errors. There was a run. No hits, 2 errors, and 3 left. An inauspicious start, 1-0 Twins. And friends and family members, Trevor May, 2008 valedictorian at Kelso High School. Let's take a look at the batting order the Mariners will throw up against him tonight.
Mariners starting lineup brought to you by Chevron. Leading off, it will be Austin Jackson. Seth Smith in right field tonight. He will hit second. Then it's Cano Cruz, the DH, along with 9 home runs and 18 RBIs, hitting .328. Seager Morrison with his first home run in last night's ball game. Ackley, Zunino, and Brad Miller, a 7-game hitting streak, hitting .476 over that hitting streak. Take a look at the numbers for Trevor May. 1-1 record, a .476 ERA. Has 8 strikeouts and just 1 walk. Opponents hitting .267 against him. Has a good sinker, being in the low 90s with a slider and a changeup.
What do you think's going through his mind as he delivers ball 1 to Austin Jackson at his home ballpark?
Get the first strike out of the way. Settle in.
Here's a strike. 1-1 Austin Jackson. Trevor May, originally drafted by the Phillies, 4th round in 2008, traded by the Phillies to Minnesota December 12th of 2012. He pitched here at Safeco Field. A little bit different right now. That was a big moment for him in the high school tournament. Now he's in the big leagues. 2-1. Swing and a miss by Austin. 1 for 4 last night. base hit to right in the 8th inning and stole a base. Right, 3 called. One away.
Take a look at the defense for the Twins this evening. Nunez in left field, Robinson the center fielder, and Torrey Hunter the veteran out in right. Plouffe at third, Escobar and Dozier playing up the middle. Vargas is the first baseman, and Kurt Suzuki will do the catching.
Here's Seth Smith. Good outing against the Twins in 97 pitches. Broken bat. Dozier can't get it. Base hit. That exploded.
Ran to first base with a baton in his hand. Take a look at it. He hits this off the end of the bat. He does, and just shatters it.
Well, it's appropriate. The pen relays were held earlier today in Philadelphia.
There you go. Good effort by Dozier. Was not able to come up with the line drive from Smith.
At 40,000 strong at beautiful Franklin Field in Philly for you track aficionados. Here's Robinson Cano, doubles later in the American League with 7. 10-game hitting streak working. Checked down at third base of Scott Barry. He did go. Robbie, per usual, out early. He and Logan Morrison doing that screen drill. Howard Johnson soft tossing to him. Foul back.
Good fastball, 93 miles an hour, right on the outside corner.
Robbie 1 for 4 last night, 4th inning single to center.
Number of the fastballs that Trevor has thrown here in the first inning have been elevated. I think as he gets settled in, we'll see more towards the bottom of the strike zone. Pretty good sinker. Likes to mix in his slider with it. Occasional changeup. They use that to the left-handers.
Time called. On 2 to Robbie. Worked inside, missed. 2-2. Nelson Cruz on deck.
We saw that in last night's ball game. They were trying to pitch him inside. Missed with the last 2 fastballs.
1-0 on a bases loaded walk to Eduardo Nunez. 2-2 to Cano. It's it outside. Full count. Well, these are the kind of dilemmas we want to see pitchers in all year. 3-2 to Cano. And guess what? You got Big Boy on deck. Runner goes. Pitch. Sliced. Foul down the left field line and deep. Out of play.
And another good fastball. Trying to get it in on the hands of Cano.
And Cano's probably angry with himself because those are the that was a location he's working on that screen drill.
Right. There's still timing there, and the pitch before was a pretty good changeup.
Yeah.
Just missing the outside corner, so that puts that in the back of your mind. And then if you locate a fastball inside, as Trevor just did, it's pretty good stuff, young man. Some good pitches to him.
3-2. Runner goes again. Pitch taken for ball 4. Couple of men aboard for Nelson Cruz. Take a look at our Coors Light cold hard facts and home runs entering today. He's out. He's right there with the Phillies and Marlins and ahead of the Brewers and the Twins. Cruz off to a fabulous start. The American League home run leader, RBI leader, total base and slugging leader. Starting him off. A breaking ball at 77 miles an hour for a strike.
It's the first curveball we've seen from him.
Cruz 0 for 2 against May. Played against him last year while a member of the Orioles. One. Caught a break. The left fielder Nunez is practically on the track. 1-1. Hit the other way down the line. That's extra bases. Here comes Smith. He's going to score. Cano is rolling, getting a wave on at third. Here he comes. The throw home is not in time. Two-run double. Nelly Cruz and the Mariners have taken a lead at 2-1. He doesn't have to hit him cross country.
Well, it was one of the things I was talking about. We've talked about the home runs and the RBIs, but his batting average coming into the game is .328. He is a good hitter. Take a look at this pitch. Probably middle away. We've seen this swing from him a number of times. I think he's fooled a little bit, but still able to get the barrel to it and keep it fair. Good look at our Alaska Supermo. As you see how far off the line Vargas, the first baseman, is. And once it gets past him, guys are off to the races.
Here's Kyle Seager. Cruz at second. Kyle looks at 0-1. For Cruz, RBI's 19 and 20 and his second two-base hit.
20 RBIs in just 17 games.
High pop. Vargas with room. Makes the play. Two outs. Two outs with Cruz at second. That'll bring up Logan Morrison. Last night, his first extra base hit of the season. It was a homer. This after Jordan Schaefer ran a ball down in the right center field gap. Made a terrific catch. Take extra bases away from Lomo. Then on a 2-0 pitch leading off the fifth, he hit a home run. Bounces one. Vacuumed up by Vargas. He'll take it to the bag. That'll do it. But the Mariners strike quickly. Two-run double. Nelson Cruz. Mariners lead 2-1. Sunday best with the new home alternate jersey and cap. The Mariners team store has these great-looking jerseys and caps available in adult, women's, and youth sizes. Stop by any one of the 5 locations at Safeco Field, downtown Seattle, at 4th and Stewart, Bellevue Square, South Center, and Alderwood Mall. It is a wonderful look. We look forward to seeing it tomorrow. All right, James Paxton got to be feeling a little bit better right now. Nelly Cruz down the line, picks up 2.
Well, again, his defense hurt him. A couple of errors. Didn't help himself with the 2 walks. Did not give up a hit. He just needs to find a strike zone with his fastballs, hopefully early in counts like that. Get ahead of the hitters. In the first inning, 24 pitches, 11 strikes for him. So he's going to have to improve on that.
Eduardo Escobar is the hitter. Counts at 1-1. Escobar, Shane Robinson, and Brian Dozier 8, 9, and 1. Cano takes care of it. Easy out. Iwakuma Bear had night. Unfortunately, Kuma had to go on the DL with a leg problem. And he's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. Brings up Shane Robinson. That's through the hole. Hard hit. Base hit. 1 out base runner for the Twins. Check out tomorrow's starters. Brought to you by CenturyLink. What's next? And we'll wrap up this series. Kyle Gibson takes on Roenis Elias. Some in the clubhouse today called up to get this start with Iwakuma on the DL. Not officially announced, but what do you got in your pocket?
I just think good for him. He was, I'm sure, really disappointed when he wasn't with the club at the end of spring training. He didn't have to wait too long, couple of weeks, and now he's here.
Talked so much about pitching depth, and he flat out beaten out by Taijuan Walker.
Yeah.
You know, when you put the head-to-head performances together, it became a no-brainer. There's Dozier reached on an error by Seager. 1 run, no hits, 2 errors, and 3 left by the Twins in inning 1.
James may have to throw over to first a number of times. Dozier, as you mentioned, reached on an error, but stole second base. Robinson, the number 9 hitter, with that base hit, he can run. Have to pay attention to him. Give Mike a chance to throw him out. There you go.
How many times have you seen it too? The way they're struggling. You mentioned it earlier in the first inning. Do what you got to do.
Do what you have to do. And especially after a night like last night, having to deal with Felix all night long. I don't think Paul Molitor wants to wait around in this one tonight.
Right. A lot of guys shaking their heads today in that clubhouse.
And I'm sure you heard it too. As I was walking around town and running into people, they would bring Felix up right away. It's hard to even explain how good he was last night. Just tremendous. A tremendous night for him.
He cracked me up when I saw him after the game. Said, "Man, my bullpen beforehand was terrible." Really? I said, "Well, you got rhythm early in the first inning." He said the first couple of pitches felt great, and then he was off. He was ready to go. Strikes out the first 4. That's well struck through the hole. Paxton in hot water again here in the second inning.
This looks like a pretty good pitch. It's a fastball. Low 90s again, right on the outside corner at the knees. Dozier ends up picking up the base hit, but a pretty good pitch from James. He'll be in good shape if he can throw his fastball in that area.
Torrey Hunter popped out to Cano. Strike 1. Change of speed there, 85. 6 of the 10 Minnesota batters have reached base so far. 2 errors, 2 walks, and 2 hits. Paxton set. And swing and a miss by Torrey Hunter. He's gone. That's second strikeout for Paxton. 2 away here in the second inning.
That's pretty good breaking ball. Looks like it's going to be in the hitting area and bounces right off the plate. That's why it's so important, not just for James, but all pitchers. If you can get ahead, then you have the ability to throw some pitches outside the strike zone, like the good curveball, to get the hitters to chase it. But the only way you can get to that is to get ahead of them.
Joe Mauer walked in a 3-2 pitch. Paxton had a great year at Safeco Field last season, 3-0 with a 2.12 ERA at 5 starts. Outside for ball 2. This is his 3rd start here at home. Angels, Texas, and now the Twins. Behind 2-0. Runners at first and second. Back with a strike at 2-1.
He's having to work hard in the first couple of innings. This next pitch will be 40.
Shane Robinson at second. Brian Dozier at first. Now he's run a 3-1 count to Mauer. Trevor Plouffe on deck. There we go, 3-1. Look out. No harm done down in the fan section. Somebody secured him. Probably went right under his arm. Three and 2 to Mauer. 2 out, 2 on. 2-1 lead for the Mariners in the second. Runners go. Pitch fouled off.
Better location on that last fastball, just off the outside corner. Too close for Mauer to take it, but he wasn't going to do much with that pitch.
There we go again at 3 and 2. Runners in the move. Pitch. Dribbled foul. Boy, he'd love to put away Mauer right now. 3 and 2, 2 outs. Runners on the move. Pitch. Out back again by Joe.
And a good fastball right on the outside corner. Well located.
One more time. Strike him out. Third K for Paxton. Strands 2. He goes to the home second with a 2-1 lead. Bottom third of the order. Ackley, Zunino, and Miller for the Mariners coming up. So what's happening up in the 300 level? Here's what's happening. That's a heck of a view. Not a bad seat in this ballpark. Mariners lead 2-1. Still getting benefiting from some sunshine here in parts of the ballpark. Dustin Ackley to lead off against Trevor May. Looks at strike one. Ackley got robbed last night by Jordan Schaefer. He had a blast to deep left center field that Schaefer ran down. Hit another ball hard, flied out to right, and grounded out last evening. Trevor May out of Kelso High School delivers strike 3 called to Dustin Ackley. He's got 2 strikeouts. Both looking. He got Jackson in the home first.
It was a tough at bat. First pitch strike off the outside corner. The next pitch on the inside corner. And you can see the good 2-seam fastball running off the outside corner. Good job by Suzuki, the catcher for the Twins, to frame that pitch. Probably just off the plate away, but he gets the call.
Mike Zunino, 3 strikeouts last night, all on 0-2 pitches. One. Bases loaded, walked, and Nunez put Minnesota in front in the first inning. Nelson Cruz put the Mariners ahead with a 2-run double in the home first. Off the fist and fouled back up this way, 2-2. Two pitch. I got a piece of it. A struggle for Mike here in the homestand. Is 3 for 17.
Well, you mentioned it, Dave, last night. He's behind in the count a number of at bats. That makes it tough on anybody.
He's 2-2. Has the swing gotten longer since some of the good stuff we saw mid to late in spring training?
Basically, I think with him, and it's something I talked to Howard Johnson about with Mike, and we've talked about his stride and that he has spread out a little bit more, but it's more the path of his bat, and they're trying to get the path of his bat to stay in the hitting area a little bit longer. And typically for him, when he gets into trouble, he'll pull off the ball. Head flies, and then you end up chasing a pitch. So he had a couple of fastballs to hit, but right now struggling a little bit with his swing. I know it's something that they're working on, and they tried to work on in the course of spring training. He just gets tied up on that last pitch, that pitch up out of the strike zone.
Back-to-back Ks here in the second, 3 for the ball game for Trevor May. Brings up Brad Miller. He's working on a 7-game hitting streak.
Doing a really good homestand. He's done an excellent job of using the entire field, not trying to just pull the ball. He's hit it all over the ballpark. 7-game hitting streak, hitting .476 over that hitting streak.
Foul ball out of play. Trevor May hit 0-2 here to Brad Miller, shortstop, batting out of the 9-hole.
And Trevor May has made some really good pitches, especially to the left-handed hitters on the outside corner. He has a good running fastball, and its location with it has been excellent.
And he strikes out the side. Blows that one by Brad. Mariners lead it 2-1.
From the Ford Sports Desk, where are you rooting the Mariners on from? We want to know. Send us your photos, the hashtag #WhereIRoot via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, celebrating an anniversary with Bear Hat Night at Safeco Field. I'm not sure she's totally sold on that idea. Birthday fun at the ballpark as well. Lindsey Pollard and friends here at Safeco Field. And that is one hardcore Mariners fan as we send it back upstairs to Dave and Mike.
Very much so, Tom. Thank you. Pitch swung on, popped up, out of play. Off the bat of third baseman Trevor Plouffe.
Quick inning for James Paxton. That's what he needs right now, Dave. 47 pitches through the first 2 innings. Wynn's making him work.
Strike on the outside corner, 0-2. Plouffe to be followed by Kenny Vargas and Eduardo Nunez. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks thus far for Paxton. And here's strike 3 call. Plouffe knew it. 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Big Pax. 4 Ks on the ball game this Mother's Day. Treat mom to an afternoon here at the ballpark. Mariners will be hosting the A's in the first 10,000 moms on Saturday, May 10th. Going to get a Mariners sun hat courtesy of EQC. For tickets to Mother's Day at Safeco Field, visit mariners.com. One away here in the third. Kenny Vargas struck out on a 0-2 pitch. Ricochet caught by a fan in the lower deck. 1-1 to count. All at 2 strikes. Foul away. Just to see Pax get on a roll here. He struck out the last 3 men that he's faced. 4 strikeouts in a ball game. Got burned by a couple of walks and 2 errors in the first inning, giving up 1 run. He was lucky to get out of that. It's inside.
His best fastball of the night. 94 miles an hour on the inside. Trying to move him back. Probably comes back with something off speed. Looks like a curveball.
Counts run full. Swing and a miss. Tagged by Zunino. Not bad. There's a run of 4 consecutive strikeouts now. Quick 2 outs in the third. Make sure you stick around after the game. Mariners postgame presented by Delta Airlines. Hot action out at the pen as we come to you above the A and Safeco Field. Dave Simpson, Mike Flowers, Root Sports Group. Big crowd. Looks like 30,000 or more. Strike to Eduardo Nunez. The bases loaded walk for the Twins' only run in the first inning. Cano to his left. No problem. A 1-2-3 third. Paxton's starting to pick up a little rhythm here. He's got a 2-1 lead. Brought to you by the Grand Puyallup RV Show, April 30th through May 3rd. By Audi, Truth in Engineering. By Vern Funk, bad luck can hit anyone, insure with the 13th man. And by BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. Seagulls chirping, huh? Another ferry coming in. We'll see those Seagulls. Oh, about 9, no, about 10-10 tonight, probably.
I was hearing that, and I started looking around the ballpark. The timing is off.
You're way off. They'll let you know when they want the yard. 0-1 to Jackson. 0-2. He took a called third strike on a 2-2 pitch in the first inning.
Yeah, they will be here in full force tomorrow at about 4 o'clock.
That's right. That one hung up in the air. Jackson hit it hard, but right to Shane Robinson, one away. What do you think of the youngster from Kelso High School, valedictorian back in 2008, Trevor May?
I like what I've seen so far. We mentioned it in the second inning, was able to strike out the side. He has a good fastball, better than I expected. He's been 93 miles an hour with some good run to his two-seamer. Shown a couple of good curveballs, has a good changeup. Throwing strikes. 37 pitches, 25 strikes for him.
Here's Seth Smith, a broken bat single to right. His first at bat, scored on the Cruz double, he and Cano.
That's a good curveball from him. So he's mixing it up.
Ball one. One and two to Seth. Shift on for Seth. Everybody pulled around to the right side. Pitch. Hit the ground. Still alive. 1-2.
Another changeup. 86 miles an hour.
One-two pitch. Dribbled foul. And base hit for Seth in the first inning, his fourth hit on the homestand. 4 for 19. And Trevor May strikes him out. On strikeout number 5, 2 away here in the third. Trevor May, hailing from Kelso, Washington. There you are. Not too far from Portland. Trevor May said on many occasions he has driven up here to Safeco Field. There's where they indeed logged a lot of hours on that field as an all-star performer. Down low to Cano, who walked and scored back in the first. What a one. Trevor May made his major league debut last August 9th at Oakland. 4 runs, 3 hits, 7 walks, and 2 innings pitched. Took the loss in that game. Finished up last year 3-6, 10 starts, 10 games rather, 9 starts in 45 2/3 innings. Ball and 2 strikes. Cano takes one into the gap for a base hit. So that makes him 17 for 42. Hitting streak extended to 11 games.
He was finally able to get a fastball that was elevated, but it was off the plate away. And again, he's not trying to do too much. 1-2 count. They want to go back down and away. That one's up a little bit, but you can see that it's well off the plate away as he hits the line drive into left center field.
There's Cruz. Sid Barrett, home plate umpire. Look at the left fielder, Eduardo Nunez. He's in another zip code, isn't he?
We talk about it typically late in games when you have a one-run lead. The outfielders will play deep to take away the double. I think he's deeper than even in that situation. Can't say that I blame him. Cruz hitting a home run into the second deck in last night's game.
Over the Jackie Robinson side.
But even Torrey Hunter in right is playing deep.
Yeah. That homer, 113 miles an hour coming off the bat. Got out of here in 4 seconds. Kloof backhands, sets, throws, and gets Cruz. The Mariners are gone in the third. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. Played 3, and the Mariners lead 2-1. Dancing to Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk, putting on a show. As we take a look at our Delta Airlines keep climbing standings. And here you go. Jose Altuve homered in today's ball game. Astros win at Oakland. They've got a 10-7 record now. And Altuve, what did he get? He got a pitch up high, about letter high, and just creamed it off of Feldman. As the Astros pick up a win there. Remarkable little guy. James Paxton. Last 2 innings. Gave up no runs, 2 hits in the second, and then got 2 strikeouts. Retiring the side in order in the third. Maybe starting to settle down a little bit here.
Well, I think that's the hope. He had to throw 47 pitches to get through the first 2 innings. So a much better third inning for him. He's starting to work ahead of hitters. 16 batters, 10 first pitch strikes.
Kurt Suzuki flied to center his first at bat. Giancarlo Stanton, his 5th home run today for Florida. Ben Zobrist undergoes knee surgery. That's not good. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. Paxton ahead 1 and 2. He's got Suzuki, Escobar, and Robinson here in the 4th. Brad Miller to his left. Foul throw. One more back on the bag. 1 away.
And Brad has really had a nice homestand. Talked about his hitting streak, but he's played some good defense.
Omo able to get the foot down quickly. 6 consecutive hitters retired by James Paxton. Here's Escobar, grounded out to Cano in his first AB. Exit strike 1.
Jackson looks like he's picking up his pace. Gotta like that. 1-1. 2-1. Over the dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Eduardo Escobar, playing at shortstop. Danny Santana was at shortstop in last night's game. Full count. Three and 2. Well and deep to left, giving Chase Ackley on the track, and going to watch it sail out of here into the Mariner bullpen. Home run for Eduardo Escobar, his first of the year, and it ties the game at 2-2.
Escobar, he gets a 3-2 fastball. James decided he's just going to challenge him. Didn't want to walk the number 8 hitter, and he gets a fastball in the middle of the plate. 93 miles an hour. Out into the Mariner bullpen.
Ends a run of 6 consecutive retired. There's Shane Robinson looking at a strike. He got a single to left in his second inning at bat. Oh, 2. Ball 2 strikes. Fourth home run given up by Paxton, and this is 4th start. Count it 2-2. Nelson Cruz, a 2-run single in the first inning, put the Mariners ahead after Minnesota got a Nunez bases loaded walk, but now Escobar's tied it at 2. 2-2 pitch. Hit this to left center field, cruising over to make the play. Austin Jackson. And we'd like to welcome in these fellas in from Bend, Oregon. The Axemen from the Oregon Baseball Academy. Welcome, fellas.
They're enjoying the Kuma hat.
Absolutely. 2 outs here in the 4th. Good FaceTime for those youngsters. Hope all the moms and dads are running their DVR. Top of the order, Brian Dozier, 3rd time, reached on an error and scored. Helped by his stolen base in the 1st inning, and then 2nd time up in the 2nd inning, a single to left. In there for strike 2-1. Deep count, 3-1. 2 walks by Paxton, both in the 1st inning. None since. Torrey Hunter on deck. Cranked foul. Three-two pitch. Took a lot off. Zunino throws down to Lomo, and that'll do it. And a strikeout number 6 for Paxton. Twins tied up on the Escobar home run. 2-2 game.
Sports Desk, where are you rooting the Mariners on from? Let's find out. Hashtag where I root. By the way, keep sending these on in tonight. Puyallup, that's where that Mariners fan is rooting the Mariners on from. Sent in by Teresa. Thank you very much. Robert's on his couch in Alaska. He looks rather comfortable, enjoying the ball game tonight between the M's and the Twins and celebrating our 1-year anniversary in the same spot we met. Now see, love at the ballpark. You gotta like it. Thanks for sending that in, folks. Let's send it back upstairs to Dave and Mike.
Very touching. I like it. Good stuff. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, folks, for continuing to let us know where you're rooting from. Here's Kyle Seager. Be followed by Logan Morrison and Dustin Ackley. 5, 6, and 7 here in the 4th in a 2-2 game. Kyle fouled out to the first baseman Vargas in his first at bat. Ooh, that one hit right off of May. Can he get him? He does. Boy, that had to hurt like heck. Trying to run
looked
it
like
off.
it hit him in the elbow.
Oof, man.
That is not good.
Yep.
We'll take a look at it. Kyle hits about as hard as he can.
Oof.
You have to hope that maybe it was in the forearm area. It'll tighten up on him, but I think that would be better than on the elbow.
Not the truth. That's tough. Oof, oof, man, that's a bad sound. Oh, that's a shame.
That is. He was really pitching well.
Yes, he was. Young man from Kelso, Washington. Home debut. Has to leave the game. Gets hit by a line drive on his pitching elbow. Oh, man, talk about unlucky. 2-2 ball game here in the 4th. Feel for him and his family. Tough break. May out of Kelso High School. Pitched a nice ball game here. 3 1/3, Mike, 3 hits.
Yeah, just 3 hits from him. Mariners able to score a couple of runs, but 51 pitches, had 5 strikeouts and just the 1 walk. So hopefully he's going to be okay.
And here's what took him out of the game just moments ago.
Line drive off the bat of Kyle Seager, and it hits him on his pitching arm. On the replay that we saw, it looked as if it hit him maybe just below the elbow, more towards his forearm. And Paul Molitor, the manager for the Twins, doing the right thing and getting the young man out of the ball game, probably to get some ice on his arm right away.
They just missed the point, but that still hurts like crazy.
Oh, it will.
Hopefully it was a fortuitous bounce, if you can say something about a line drive coming right back at you. Paul Molitor goes to the bullpen. And the Hall of Famer brings in Tim Stauffer. And because of the injury, he had as much time as he needed to get warm. Right-hander, and he's going to face Logan Morrison.
Didn't take him long. He ended up getting loose in a hurry. So far this year in 5 games, ERA right at 9, 5 innings, a couple of strikeouts, 3 walks, opponents hitting .391, including a home run off of Stauffer.
Veteran pitcher's been in the big league since '05. Bouncing ball at Dozier charges, throws out Morrison. 2 away here in the Mariners' 4th. April is National Autism Awareness Month. Join the Mariners, Major League Baseball, its club and players in helping raise awareness. To learn more, log on to mlbcommunity.org or autismspeaks.org. 2 outs for Dustin Ackley. Struck out looking on an 0-2 pitch. Looks at strike 1 from Tim Stauffer. Stauffer, like the Mariners' Charlie Furbush, is from the state of Maine. He's from Portland. Charlie's from South Portland. Another opportunity for Dozier. And that'll do it for the Mariners in the 4th. Score tied at 2. It's 2-2 ball game. Top of the 5th as we take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. We'll wrap it up tomorrow, then hit the road. Texas for 3, Houston for 4, and then the Angels for 3 before we come home. And that'll be a substantial homestand in the month of May with Oakland, San Diego, and Boston coming to town. James Paxton threw 4 innings. He's got 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. Giving up 2 runs on 3 hits. 2 errors have hurt him. There's Torrey Hunter. Torrey 0 for 2, popped out to Cano and struck out. Fly ball, right field, deep, taking Seth Smith back on the track, and he makes a catch right in front of the 380 sign, 1 away.
A little bit of a breeze blowing out to right. Torrey gave it a good ride. Fastball up out over the plate. James is now at 83 pitches as he works here in the 5th.
Brings up Joe Mauer, the DH. Joe was the first baseman at last night's tilt. Tonight he's walked and struck out. Youngster was lucky on that foul ball. He had his back turned walking up the aisle, and somebody deflected the ball and kept it from hitting him in the head. Down to our left. 1-1 to Joe Mauer.
See Mauer with some late swings off of James's fastball.
Two-one pitch. In there for strike 2. Mauer, a perennial all-star catcher, but just about any catcher who's doing 140 games a year and stuff catches up to you, and they've moved him to first base a couple 3 years ago. 3-2. We'll see the Twins again in Minnesota late July. It'll be a 4-game series: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. July 30 and 31, August 1 and 2. 3-2 pitch.
You see another 95-mile-an-hour fastball from James, trying to work inside with his fastball. Mauer, and he just continues to foul him off over the dugout. Late swings. Paxton now at 90 pitches as he works here in the 5th.
So he loses Joe Mauer. 3rd walk, first since the 1st inning when he gave a bases loaded walk to Nunez that scored the Twins' first run. Is it Mauer reluctant to pull anymore? It seems like he hasn't been a consistent pull guy in years.
Well, talking to some of the folks from Minnesota, they said he's been trying to pull the ball more this year, but so far he clearly isn't comfortable up there off of Paxton.
Trevor Plouffe reached on an error by center fielder Austin Jackson. Then he took a called 3rd strike in the 3rd inning.
I think for Mauer, especially playing in their home ballpark, he's going to have to pull the ball a little bit more. Only 4 home runs for him last year.
In the Metrodome, he could go the other way and slap it into those lower left field stands. We saw him do that all too often against the Mariners not too long ago. No stirring in the Mariner bullpen right now. 2-0 pitch coming. 2-1. Infield double play depth up the middle. Pitch. Seager charges. Cano can't hold on. Fielder's choice, E5. Second error for Kyle tonight, 3rd for the team.
We'll take a look at it. Kyle is able to come in and get it. He charges it right away, trying to throw back across his body, ends up throwing a little bit of a sinker. Cano not able to handle it. Kyle is so good at that play. Right off the heel of the glove of Cano.
Now we do have action in the Mariner pen. Dominic Leone starting to heat up.
Well, James is now at 95 pitches, and 3 errors certainly didn't help his pitch count this evening.
Kenny Vargas has struck out twice. 1 out, 2 on. Strike 1. 3 errors, the most in a game by the Mariners so far this season. Didn't go to Sean Barber. 1-1.
We'll take a look at it. Oh, I think he was able to hold up. Good call.
Bounce foul. 1-2. Max pitch count. Most of the game last year as Leon heats up. Last year he threw 118 in a win against Texas on August 26th. It's 2-2 here.
Well, this next pitch will be 100.
Great swing. Boy, did he catch a break there. 7th strikeout for Paxton. 2 away here in the 5th. Vargas has K'd 3 times.
Well, after the fastball inside, he comes back with a breaking ball in the dirt. Gets him to swing right over the top of it.
Here's Nunez with 2 on. Bases loaded, walking a ground out today. Up the middle, Brad Miller can't get it. Mauer at third, he's going to score, and the Twins have a 3-2 lead. 2nd RBI tonight for Nunez. So Mauer scores from 2nd. Moving up 90 feet is Trevor Plouffe.
Well, he was trying to get the ground ball out. He gets the ground ball, but unfortunately it was back up the middle. Brad Miller was playing him to pull. Zunino was set up inside, but that pitch more in the middle of the plate.
Kurt Suzuki 0 for 2, fly out and ground out to short. Ball 1.
2 errors and a couple of walks in the first inning cost him a run, and now a walk and an error here has cost him a run.
Two balls, no strikes. Two-0 pitch. There's a strike. 2-1.
Twins so far just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but a couple of 2-out RBIs cost James.
Two away, a run in, runners at first and second. He's down low, 3-1. On deck hitter is Escobar, Eduardo Escobar. Ground ball, base hit, center field. Here comes Plouffe. He's going to score. 4-2 Minnesota. RBI for Suzuki, his 6th of the year.
And it looks like that'll be it for James. Lloyd up off of his chair in the dugout. I think Zunino was set up inside again. They were playing him to pull on the infield, and that fastball middle away, just missing his location. A couple of ground balls that found their way back up the middle.
Mariners were hoping to get a bounce back from Paxton tonight in his first start against the Minnesota Twins. Did not work out, as Lloyd's going to take the ball away from him. Go to the bullpen. Dominic Leone when we come back.
Glasgow with you from the Ford Sports Desk. You know, it was Thursday night. It was an epic brawl, to say the least, between a couple of ball clubs, the Royals and the White Sox going at it, and the law was laid down today in terms of suspensions in this one. A total of 7 players suspended or fined, 6 receiving suspensions, including the instigator, Yordano Ventura. He gets 7 games. Edison Volquez 5. Lorenzo Cain 2. Kelvin Herrera 2 games. He's already dealing with another suspension from earlier this season. And for the White Sox, Sale 5 games. Same story for Jeff Samardzija. Tyler Flowers not suspended, but he was fined. This dating back to early in the season. These clubs were getting after each other, and it carried on over into Thursday. And you can basically assume that all of these players will be appealing the penalties handed down today, as we send it back upstairs to Dave and Mike.
All the Kansas City games going to be pay-per-view fights in the future?
It seems like it.
Man. Mayweather Pacquiao will have to take a back seat to those jokers.
Well, and Ventura seems to be in the middle of all of it.
Yeah.
Starting pitcher.
A common denominator, eh?
He ended up getting into it with Trout. Brett Lawrie
and Eaton.
And then in that game with the White Sox, it was Eaton.
Switch hitter Escobar at the dish right now. In a productive inning for the Minnesota Twins. RBIs by Nunez and Suzuki. 4-2 lead. 2 out, 2 on. Leone trying to get the Mariners out of it here in the 5th. All in 2 strikes. Last couple of outings, Leone's command has improved. Zunino throw to third. Safe. So a wild pitch gets Nunez to third. Sooner had I said his command been good, he spikes one.
It's actually a pretty good play by Zunino. The ball bouncing well out in front of home plate. Good read by Nunez out at second base.
Two pitch. Much needed strikeout. 2 runs, 2 hits, an error, 2 left for the Twins. They've opened up a 4-2 lead. p.m. Too much good stuff by the Rockwood Fired Kitchen. Pizza, burgers, spirits, and by Volkswagen. Hurry in and get a deal during the Volkswagen Stop Dreaming, Start Driving event. Beautiful shot of Elliott Bay from this great Saturday night. Mariners down 4-2, bottom of the 5th inning here. Tim Stauffer. First pitch to Mike Zunino's fouled back. Stauffer on in relief of Trevor May, who took a line drive off the elbow. A line drive by Kyle Seager. 4th inning. Big breaking ball for strike 2.
Really took a lot off of it. 72 miles an hour. The veteran Stauffer, pretty good sinker. He will mix it up.
0-2. Stauffer 9 years with San Diego. Out of Portland, Maine, 32 years old. 1-2 to Mike Z. Zunino trying to end a run of 4 consecutive strikeouts dating back to last night's game. Count it 2-2. Full count. Brad Miller on deck. He struck out in his first at bat back in the 2nd inning. 3-2 to Zunino. Ted Barrett taking his shots tonight. Said he gets one right in the chest and ripples all the way down his back. Off the fist, diving his ploof. Throws across. Zunino's retired. Speaking of Kansas City Royals, he's got their colors on and he's a little feisty tonight. Going on to take on the Moose. Boom. Bang, and to the moon. See you later. All we need is a fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco.
Tough night for the Moose.
This is playable for Brian Dozier, the second baseman. 2 away.
And back to the top of the lineup, Austin Jackson going to step in with a couple of outs. He's 0 for 2.
There's Austin Jackson. Mariners got their 2 runs in the first inning. Against the shift, Nelson Cruz hit a hard ground ball down the first base line into right field, and it scored Seth Smith and Robinson Cano. First and second, 1-out situation. Taken for strike 1 and 2. Since that RBI, Mariners have not had a runner get beyond second base. To second base. There's Cano reaching on a single in the third.
Just the 1 hit.
Down the line, that's going to stay fair. Austin Jackson will get a double, his second of the season. And the Mariners will bring the tying run to the plate.
Job of pulling his hands inside, getting the barrel to it, keeping it fair.
Floating the bullpen, fellas. 4th hit for the Mariners. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Minnesota. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 3 errors. Most this season by the Mariners.
Seth Smith with 1 of the 4 hits, a base hit into right field. Mariners 1 for 3 tonight with runners in scoring position.
Smith, a teammate of Stauffer's last year in San Diego. Feel like that call would have won. Stauffer 6-2 in 44 games for San Diego last season. He started 3 games. One and 2. Minnesota got a bases loaded walk in the first, a home run by Escobar in the 4th, and RBI singles to center by Nunez and Suzuki for their 4 runs. Paul Molitor moving the shortstop behind the bag. Escobar was on the first base side. 2 outs with Jackson at second. 1-2 to Seth Smith. Ball 2. Mariners could use a big hit here with 2 outs. They've done well with 2-out RBIs here in the early season. Outfielder Nunez coming in. And he makes the catch. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. 5 complete here at Safeco Field. 4-2 Minnesota.
find out where you are rooting the Mariners on from. Some terrific photos to send your way. This crew is right here at Safeco Field. That looks like an upper deck shot. Oh, we want to be with these people. Check that out. Outside, fire pit, TV, I'm guessing HD. They're living the dream and having a great time tonight watching the Mariners and the Twins. And it is a beautiful day for some baseball. Thank you, Zach, for sending that in. We sent it upstairs to Dave and Mike.
I wonder if that was a 4K TV. Maybe they were way ahead of the curve in that backyard. That looked good. Dominic Leone continues. He's got Shane Robinson here. Delivers a first pitch strike. Shane 1 for 2. Single to left in the second inning. Fourth inning, fly to center.
Tyler Olson getting loose in the Mariner pen. Right now it'll be up to the bullpen. Just keep the game where it's at. See if the offense can get something going.
Foul ball. Let's play that always fun game. What did we learn? What did we learn from watching James Paxton tonight?
I still think he struggled at times with his fastball command. I thought his curveball was pretty good. Was able to get some strikeouts with it. But he's still just a little bit off, I think. He still didn't look real comfortable to me.
Bouncing ball to Brad Miller. Pulled Lomo off the bag. No, it didn't. He just maintained contact. Good stretch and glove by Logan Morrison.
Able to keep his toe on the bag. And catching it in the end of the webbing of his glove. So he stretched out about as far as he could go. Strange night for the Mariners. And already 3 errors in this one tonight.
2 by Seager, 1 by Jackson. Top of the order again, Brian Dozier. 4th at bat. Strike 1-1. Tyler Olson heating up. Dozier, .295 hitter against the Mariners with 4 homers and 10 runs batted in. Dominic staying down in the zone here against Dozier. Did not go, so Sean Barber. Full count.
Try to hit the outside corner with a good fastball, but Dozier able to hold up on his swing. Mentioned it, David. His fastball command has been much better.
Yep. Dozier will take his base. First walk issued by Leone. 1 out base runner for the Twins. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Look out landing. Great view of the sun setting. Dozier, great jump, swung on by Hunter, fouled off.
Dozier reaching in the first inning on an error and stole second base.
It's outside to Torrey Hunter. Kingdom veterans Carlos Beltran. How about Bartolo Colon getting it done for the Mets here? Off to a good start with Troy Hawkins, Torrey Hunter, Big Papi, A.J. Brzezinski, and Alex Rodriguez.
I think the pitching side of it, Colon, Hawkins, we saw on there, for those guys to pitch as long as they have pitched is amazing.
Troy Hawkins, I believe this is going to be his last year. Bartolo Colon looks like he could pitch another 5 years. He just throws strikes. Not rushing up 95, 98 like he used to, but he knows what he's doing. We've seen that. Over the outstretched leap of Brad Miller, and Dozier can run. They're going to wave him around. Here's Brad Miller with the throw. Throw to the plate is offline. RBI double. Torrey Hunter. 5-2 Minnesota lead. Torrey with his 7th run batted in on his 4th double.
And Dozier has now scored a couple of times. Scores from first. Take a look at the swing. This pitch right on the inside corner. Hits it hard into the gap.
Good wheels by Dozier.
Thought they had a chance on the relay. It's a good throw to Miller, but the ball runs up the line. And that'll bring Lloyd McClendon out of the dugout. He's going to make a pitching change. As you see the slide by Dozier.
The Mariners going to the bullpen for the 2nd time tonight. And trailing the Minnesota Twins in this middle game. 3-game set, 5-2. Tyler Olson will take over. Evening, and did you know there's a playground located inside Safeco Field? Seattle Children's Playfield is located in center field and offers our youngest Mariner fans their own playground inside the ballpark. Next time you're at Safeco Field, check out the Seattle Children's Playfield. Well, the bullpen doing its best trying to keep this score in check. It's 5-2 now. Tyler Olson takes over, 3rd pitcher tonight.
Take a look at Tyler Olson and what he has done this year. This will be his 7th appearance on the season, a 3.86 ERA. In 7 innings, he has 7 strikeouts, also 7 walks. Tough duty. Runner on second base, Joe Mauer stepping in.
And the Mariners playing Mauer like a right-hand pull hitter and not very deep. Ackley shading the line. Jackson trying to cut off that left center field gap.
For Tyler Olson, his fastball will be in the upper 80s, at times touch 90 miles an hour. He'll mix in a slider, especially to the left-handed hitters.
Bowers walked, struck out, walked, and scored.
So far, the Twins 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
Breaking ball for strike 1-1. Nelson Cruz has knocked in the 2 Mariner runs. That was in the 1st inning. Seems like a long time ago. Since then, Minnesota has scored 4 more times. They had taken a 1-0 lead on a bases-loaded walk in the first. To Nunez, sweeping breaking ball, misses. 2-1. One out with Torrey Hunter at second base. Smash up the middle. Hunter got a late start, but he's getting a wave on, and he's going to score. Joe Mauer with an RBI single for Joe, his 6th run batted in, and it's now a 6-2 Minnesota lead.
Well, for Tyler, he missed with his slider a couple of times to Mauer. Ended up getting into a pretty good count for him and had a fastball right in the middle of the plate. Take a look at it, 89 miles an hour as he hits it hard back up the middle. And Lloyd McClendon quickly out of the dugout again.
This was not his plan tonight, to be playing mix and match in the 6th inning. So Olsen out. We'll take a break. Twins lead it 6-2, and Urias Medina coming on. The 6th time now for a Geico. This date in MLB history. Where were you, Mike? Were you in this game?
I'm not sure if I was in the game, but I was there. I remember the game, Junior. We got off to a great start that year.
3 homers. Beat Toronto 13-8. MLB record the month of April, 13 home runs.
MVP season.
You were 1 for 2, Curtis informs me.
All right. 56 home runs, 147 RBIs. Medina will take over. For Medina, this will be his 9th appearance on the year. 1-0 record, ERA to 1.13. 8 strikeouts over the 8 innings he has worked. Opponents hitting .226. Good fastball in the mid-90s. Hard slider.
Good news for young Trevor May. Left the game with that right elbow contusion. X-rays negative.
That is good news.
Young man from Kelso High School. Medina. This one smacked into the gap. Got some carry, hanging up, and Jackson runs it down. 2 outs. Bluth now 0 for 3 against Medina.
Good look at him calling it.
Austin Jackson tracking it down here in the 6th. There's Kenny Vargas, who struck out 3 times swinging. That's strike 1. fired to his right by Mike Zunino. Count at 1-1. Medina, the fourth pitcher tonight used by the Mariners. Paxton, Leon, Olsen, and now Urias.
Over the first 2 games of this series, one of the things with Vargas, Medina has a good slider. If you throw it at his back foot, he'll chase it. That's a fastball off the plate away.
2-1. Vargas has struck out 3 times tonight. Was 0 for 4 last night. Had 3 comebackers to Felix. Two-one pitch. Cano's right there. That'll do it. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, and a man left. Minnesota's lead now is 6-2, and Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, and Kyle Seager coming your way when we return. The game, and defense usually solid as a rock for the Mariners, not tonight.
Been a little bit sloppy for him in between walks and errors. Mariners had a tough time and find themselves in a deep hole right now. 6-2 ball game, but they certainly have not been able to help themselves.
Mariners started tonight 9th in defense in the American League. Time to get it back, though. Here we go. Bottom of the 6th, and Robinson Cano leads off. Pine tar from waxing that bat. There you go. That's how. I'm sure Ryan Stiles and the boys down in the clubhouse, I know they must have some kind of detergent and get that baby out.
Oh, it'll look perfect again tomorrow.
Either that or just buy a new one. 1-1. See if it sails. It does. To the gap, to the wall. Cano with a leadoff double. So a slicing drive gets the Mariners on a good foot here in the 6th.
Already an 11-game hitting streak for Cano, and a perfect night so far. He's been on base all 3 times. A walk and 2 base hits, a single as last time out, but this time a double. He drives into the gap in left center field.
Brings up Nelson Cruz as Robinson gets it back in. American League doubles leader with 8. Cruz a 2-run double down the first base line in the first inning, put the Mariners ahead 2-1. Mariners have 5 hits, 3 are doubles. Cruz, Jackson, and Cano. Tim Stauffer on a relief The injured Trevor May. Up the middle, Squibber. Dozier throws him out. Cano takes third. One out. Cano at third for Kyle Seager. Host your picnic at our park. Safeco Field serves as a fun location to gather for your next family or corporate event. Groups of 40 or more receive a discounted ticket price. Plus, they'll enjoy a customizable food and beverage package. For info, visit mariners.com/group hospitality. Hall of Famer Paul Molitor making a pitching change. We'll take a timeout, come right back. Mariners trying to get back in this game. They trail 6-2.
Sports Desk, where are you rooting the Mariners on from? More photos to show you. Mariners fans everywhere, including right here in the ballpark. Now, this group of ball players usually cheering on the M's in Bend, Oregon, but they have made it to Safeco Field. How about this group? Sabrina Squires and friends. They are here for Kuma Bear Hat Night, enjoying themselves. Oh, Nathan, you are a good man. He's in Kenmore during his daughter's 10th birthday with age screaming girls. I have been in those shoes, Nathan. I know what you're going through. Good times. Let's send it back upstairs to Dave and Mike.
Boy, that's a night. All right, Tom, thank you very much. Here's Kyle Seager with Cano at third and one out. Aaron Thompson takes over. First pitch strike, Aaron Thompson, 6'3", 203 out of Santa Fe, New Mexico.
He's pitched well for the Twins. Only 4 hits in the 11 innings that he has worked. Opponent's hitting just 114 off of him. Twins will have their infield back with a 4-run lead. If Kyle can put it in play, should pick up an RBI and get the Mariners a little bit closer.
It was Kyle Seager's hard line drive back through the box that hit Trevor May, causing a contusion on his right elbow area that knocked him out of the game back in the 4th. And Thompson, the hair and his physique reminds me a little bit of Andrew Miller now with the Yankees. That'll pick up a run. Going back is Shane Robinson. Cano, nice and easy to score. Make it a 6-3 ball game. 2 outs. Sacrifice fly for Seager. Picks up an RBI. His 10th.
Cano scored a couple of runs for the Mariners tonight. Good job by Kyle after falling behind 0-2 to pick up the RBI and get the runner in. The Mariners a little bit closer.
Logan Morrison been swinging early in the count. He's got a couple of ground outs. Ground out the first and a ground out the second. First extra base hit last night. It was a home run. shift on him, taking the third baseman Plouffe and putting him on the right side for Lomo.
Just one strike. Who wants to lay down a bunt? Probably pick up a base hit.
One. Marson's 2 for 2 against Thompson. One of them a home run. All 2 strikes. All 2 strikes. So Logan Morris got the shift on against him, the pitch. Taken down low for ball 2-2-2. Two outs and a 2-2 count coming. Did he go? Ted Barrett says he did, and that'll do it. Mariners get a run on one hit. It's a 6-3 Minnesota lead. By Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Beautiful look at the Emerald City, Seattle. Glad you're with us here on Root Sports. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, and the Root Sports crew. Mariners bullpen needs to shut it down here. Give the Mariners offense a chance. Score some more runs. Trailing 6-3. Medina, the 4th pitcher this evening. They'll get Eduardo Nunez, Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Escobar. Here in the 7th. 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Nunez has driven in 2 runs. Bases loaded, walked, and an RBI single in the 5th inning. James Paxton started for the Mariners. A shaky outing for him. 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 earned, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. This one smacked down the line. It'll get fouled. Did you see that?
Did he just throw the bucket in the air?
He most certainly did. Just missed it. I see that baby all over every highlight tonight. Oh, man. 0-2. Bounce down to Seager, charging its foul. Anything for a baseball, eh? Who ended up?
I think it was just more distracting than anything.
Wow.
Guess he'd had enough.
That is funny. 0-2 to Nunez. Missed away. There's your clubhouse leader for most unique approach to get a baseball. Not seen that before. 6 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Minnesota. 3-5-3 for the Mariners. 1-2. Hit well down the left field line. Ackley got a chase. One hop off the fence. Eduardo Nunez having a night. It's his 3rd double, his 2nd hit tonight. CenturyLink, what's next? Potential starters tomorrow: Kyle Gibson and Roenis Elias. And if Elias does start, which we anticipate he will, be his 2015 debut. Beaten out for a spot in the rotation in spring training by Taijuan Walker. But now with Iwakuma out 2 to 4 weeks with a lat problem. Elias gets the call. Kurt Suzuki is the hitter now. He's 1 for 3. RBI single in the 5th. Minnesota scored in the last 3 innings. 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th.
Seager playing even with the bag at 3rd. It looks like Molitor's going to let Suzuki try to hit the ball the other way after the leadoff double.
Word of counsel from Mr. Cano. He does a good job with that.
Probably just reminding Medina that he's trying to hit the ball the other way. That last pitch was a fastball on the outside corner.
Two balls, 1 strike. He's getting his hands out in front, isn't he?
Yeah, he's working hard. He's a veteran. That's why Paul Molitor letting him swing away. A lot of times you'll see the guys square around a bunt, give themselves up, but he doesn't want to give up the out, so he's going to trust his veteran to hit the ball the other way.
Houston beat Oakland 9-3 earlier this afternoon. Texas and the Angels 1-1. Bottom of the 8th in Anaheim. Angels have the bases loaded. Bottom of the 6th, beg your pardon. Big pitch here, 2-2. Going back is Cano and Morrison coming on to Seth Smith. Foul territory, makes the catch. There's 1 out. Keep your eye on the bus. Make sure you follow us from a safe distance on Twitter at Sound Transit. Runner at second, Eduardo Nunez. Now Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop. It's his turn. He grounded out to second, hit a home run, solo blast in the 4th, and struck out in the 5th.
Twins tonight 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. After the Mariners just scored in the bottom of the 6th inning, you'd certainly like to see Medina get out of it. And the biggest part was retiring that batter right there on the pop-up, not advancing the runner. Makes things a little bit easier for him.
Pitch in there for strike. Nino keeps it in front of him, and Nunez holds. Escobar, a versatile player. Goes short, plays third, second base, outfield. He's been at DH. Medina ready with the 2-1. Left field, backs up Backley. On back, makes the catch. Tagging, going to third. And getting there on the slide is Nunez with 2 outs.
I think the carry of this fly ball surprised Dustin a little bit. It's turned the right way. He's in good shape.
Runner at third, 2 outs. Shane Robinson, the center fielder. 1 for 3. And there's base hit. 7-3 Minnesota. RBI for Robinson, his 5th. The order done some damage.
They
2
have.
from Nunez, 1 from Suzuki, Escobar, and now Robinson. They've all driven in at least 1.
This fastball, middle in, stays inside of it, drives it right back up the middle. Didn't try to pull it. Picked up an RBI.
Top of the order, here's Dozier again. His 5th plate appearance. Scored twice. 1 for 3 with a walk. Backhand by Mike. 6, 7, 8, 9 spots in the order. Driven in 5 of the 7 runs for Minnesota. The other 2, Torrey Hunter batting in a 2-hole, and Joe Mauer in a 3-hole. Twins have banged out 9 hits. Medina behind here, 2-0. Takes up high for ball 3.
Dozier has some pop. He needs to make a good pitch right here. No groove in the fastballs. Torrey Hunter waits on deck.
Green 1.
Good pitch right on the outside corner, 93 miles an hour.
Lucas Litke just called up yesterday with Iwakuma going on the DL.
3-1 pitch. Runner goes. Swung on and hammered. Left center field. Ackley dives. Can't get it. Coming around is Robinson. He'll score. 8-3 Minnesota as Dozier picks up his 5th RBI and his 5th double of the season. And it has been all Twins this evening. He jumped all over. 3-1 pitch.
3-0 was on the corner. This one up and in the middle of the plate. Saw Dozier last year. Just take a look at Ackley trying to get to this line drive into the gap. Dozier last year, he can hit a high fastball, and he does so here.
Medina getting roughed up here. 4 consecutive innings now. The Twins have scored at least 1 run. And that gets through Zunino. Dozier to third.
That will be a wild pitch. Mike has had a workout tonight and done a really good job of keeping the ball in front of him. Just wasn't able to handle that one. You can see it's over in the other batter's box. There was a slider that ended up getting away from Medina.
Want to know to Torrey Hunter. Torrey with an RBI double his last time up. Left center field. Minnesota 1, 2, 3 hitters are 4 for 10. 2 doubles, 3 runs batted in, and 4 runs scored. Bottom of the order with detailed done their part as well. 10 hits. 1 and 2. Torrey the 6th man to the plate here in the 7th inning. Takes ball 2, 2-2. Runner at third, 2-2 pitch. Full count.
Well, Medina thought he had that fastball at the bottom of the strike zone. Didn't miss by much. You can see on our EQC tracer. Pretty good 2-seam fastball. Joe Mauer waiting on deck. Medina now at 30 pitches. If he loses Hunter, we'll probably see Lucas Lipke to pitch to Mauer.
Payoff to Hunter. Walked it.
And that will bring Lloyd out of the dugout.
It has not been a good evening for the pen. Medina will depart. Runners at the corners. Lucas Lipke will make his 2015 debut against Joe Mauer.
since then, it's been all Minnesota.
Escobar with a home run out into the Mariner bullpen. That tied the game up.
Nunez having a fine evening. He singled in a run in the 5th inning.
And so did Suzuki, the catcher, another base hit, scoring a run.
Torrey Hunter with a double to left center field gap. That'll pick up a run.
Dozier coming around to score from first.
Joe Mauer, he singles to center. 8 runs on 10 hits, no errors for the Twins. 3 runs, 5 hits, and 3 errors for the Mariners. Lucas Lidke, 2015 debut. Joe Mauer, first hitter. That's it, strike 1. Mauer 1 for 2 against Lucas.
And the Twins tonight, 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Lucas last year, 12 appearances, ERA right at 5. Pitched 9 innings, had 7 strikeouts, 5 walks. Opponents hit just 182 against Lucas.
Mauer didn't like that call. 0-2. First saw Lidke as a Rule 5 guy coming over from Milwaukee. Nobody knew who he was. Boy, was he murder on left-handers a couple of years ago. Not quite as effective last year. 0-2. Seventh man to the plate here in the 7th inning for Minnesota. Whacked by Zunino. Twins really silenced this crowd of 33,566. 1-2 pitch. On the ground to Miller. Shovels to Cano. That'll do it. 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors. There was a wild pitch and 2 men left. Minnesota with the lead at 8-3.
Stretching your mind as you consider how a Washington's lottery win would change your bucket list. Play today. Welcome back to Safeco Field. Some work to do for the Mariners and not a lot of time left to try to get it done. Gorgeous shot of downtown Seattle. The Twins with the 8-3 lead over the Mariners. By the way, happy birthday, number 61, Craig Boyd of Bellevue. Craig, good news. Medical research indicates 61 is the new 60. Back upstairs to Dave and Mike.
It's a new 40, pal. Thanks, Tom.
Ricky Weeks going to pinch hit for Dustin Ackley.
Ricky Weeks, Zunino, and Brad Miller. How's that new 50 fit?
It's fine.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
2-0 Ricky Weeks. Mariners got to get this party started here. 8-3 Minnesota. Two and one. Mariner RBIs tonight. Nelson Cruz, a 2-run double in the first. And Kyle Seager, 6th inning sacrifice fly. Right field, Torrey Hunter broke back. Comes in, makes a play. 1 out. And that'll bring up Mike Zunino. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Aaron Thompson, the 3rd Minnesota pitcher tonight. Trevor May, if you're just joining us, young man from Kelso High School, took a hard line drive off his elbow area. Hopefully it was more forearm than anything. That was back in the 4th inning. Had to leave the game. X-rays proved to be negative, which is a good sign. Tough break for the youngster with about 100 or so family and friends here. Strike one to Zunino.
Well, the good news, as you mentioned, the X-rays are negative, and they'll spend the next few days trying to get some of the inflammation out of his arm.
Zunino a strikeout and a ground out to 3rd tonight. Two balls, 1 strike.
Let's see if he can get a good fastball to hit right here.
The 3-1 to Mike. Angels now have a 3-1 lead at home in Anaheim against the Rangers. That's really Blomquist. He's going to pinch hit for Brad Miller. Really 3-2 to Mike Zunino. Paxton started for the Mariners 4 2/3. Leone went 2/3 of an inning. Olsen 1 batter. Medina an inning and a 1/3, and Lucas Litke currently the Mariner pitcher. Zunino will take his base. Pitch off high. Ball 4.
A little bit surprised he threw him an off-speed pitch. It looked like a changeup. Ended up walking on a changeup with a 5-run lead.
And Mike's been struggling with the fastball the last few nights.
I thought he would have been able to get a good fastball to hit.
Willie Blomquist.
He will hit for Miller. Mariners bouncing back with a day game tomorrow, so Lloyd probably going to empty his bench.
Willie 0 for 1 is a pinch hitter. Hitting at 300, 3 for 10. And he's knocked in a run. There's his career numbers as a pinch hitter. Strike 1 to Willie. Other action in Big League Baseball that's still going on. Giants in Colorado 4-4, top 11 in Denver. Dodgers 11-7 at San Diego, bottom of the 8th. Detroit bounced back, beat Cleveland 4-1. Mets beat the Yankees 8-2. Miami 8-0 over Washington. Tampa Bay 4, Toronto 2. Here's the 1-1. Early shoots one right center field. Shane Robinson runs it down. Robinson showing some good coverage out there, as did the Schaefer kid last night, Jordan Schaefer. Kids are going to want to be at Safeco Field on Saturday, May 10. It's Robinson Cano Wristband Day, courtesy of Aquafina. All kids in attendance for the Mariners A's game on May 10th. They're going to take home a pair of Robbie Cano wristbands. For tickets, visit mariners.com. 2 outs. Top of the order. Austin Jackson double to left. Last time up, he's 1 for 3. Breaking ball for a strike. Jackson deep to left, going way back, gone. 2-run homer. Austin Jackson, his second Mariner home run. RBIs 3 and 4. He got all of that one. 8-5 ball game.
Second base hits to the double, and now this home run. Dave mentioned 8-5 game, getting a little bit closer. And this is on a hanging breaking ball. You'll take a look at it. And he did not miss it.
Got it on an 0-1 pitch.
And Paul Molitor going to come out of the dugout. Looks like he's going to make a pitching change.
Justin Ruggiano comes out to pinch hit for Seth Smith. Good to see Jackson.
They keep fighting.
Up. Yep. Take another look at this. Austin Jackson. First homer came on the 19th of this month. And he has drawn the Mariners a little bit closer here. Safeco Field. Two-run homer from Austin Jackson. Draw a little bit closer. Justin Ruggiano, he'll pinch hit for Seth Smith. Paul Molitor counters with right-hander Blaine Boyer.
Sucre, the only one left on the bench for Lloyd McClendon. We take a look at the numbers for Boyer. 1-1 record. 5.19 ERA. 8 2/3, 4 strikeouts, couple of walks. Opponents hitting .324, and he's given up a home run.
Justin Ruggiano, 2 for 12 in limited duty so far. He's in the count 2-0. Ruggiano 1 for 1 against Boyer. 2-0 pitch. Two and one. Certainly an atypical game. The Mariners with 3 errors tonight.
The good news, they've been able to score 5 runs. And trying to get to the middle of their lineup again.
Runs inside from Boyer, signed with Minnesota as a minor league free agent on New Year's Eve in December. Luciano, 3-1 count. Boyer with San Diego last year, has been with Arizona and St. Louis. JR down the line, base hit. And Justin Ruggiero with the double. His first extra base hit as a Mariner.
Well, Justin able to get himself into a good count. Gets a fastball on the inside corner from Boyer and hits it hard down into the corner. And gets himself into scoring position for Robinson Cano. And we're going to get another pitching change. Left-hander getting loose in the pen for the Twins as Ruggiero gets his first extra base hit of the season.
2 runs in on the Jackson home run. Now the Mariners' threat continues to build here with 2 outs in the 7th. Down 8-5. He's got a 2-run homer with 2 outs from Austin Jackson, a pinch hit double by Justin Ruggiero. And now you've got Robinson Cano stepping in against Caleb Thielbar. Robbie 2-for-2 career against Caleb.
And he's 2 for 2 tonight. He's been on base all 3 times, had a walk in the first inning, has scored a couple of runs.
With those hits, Robbie's extended his hitting streak to 11. Breaking ball for a strike.
For Thielbar, fastball, slider, curve. Started Robbie off with the curveball to get ahead. Tough go here early. This is his 4th appearance in an inning and 2/3. See his ERA. Only sitting 500 against him. A couple of strikeouts. Hasn't walked anybody.
Ruggiero, pretty good speed at second base. Cano takes ball 1. Cano looking to pick up some other part of his game, like runners in scoring position. Just $167 so far. 2 for 12, 4 runs batted in. 1-1. Broken bat. Ground ball. Dozier. He's there, and that'll do it. Mariners get 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, leave a man. We've played 7. And look at that bat. 8-5 Twins. Occupational hazard here in the game of baseball. Watch what happens to this bat. And beware of flying objects, particularly sharp ones who can do this. Boom. Lucas Litke charged now to post to 0. Some changes. Ricky Weeks in left field. Justin Ruggiano takes over in right field. And Willie Bloomquist at shortstop. Trevor Plouffe, 1-1 count from Lucas Litke. 5th Mariner pitcher this evening. 1-2. Lucas came on to get the 3rd out in the 7th inning. 2-2.
Mariners keep fighting back in this one, but the Twins have scored in the last 4 innings. A run in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 2 in the 7th.
4 consecutive innings. And now Litke has got a 3-2 count. That is not what they had in mind. A leadoff walk in the 8th. Join Mariners Care in taking a stand against domestic violence. Participate in the Refuse to Abuse 5K run on Saturday, July 18th here at Safeco Field. To learn more about walking, running, or volunteering, visit refusetoabuse5k.org. Bear Hat Night, Iwakuma Bear Hat Night. Great crowd, 33,566. Kenny Vargas looks at a breaking ball for a strike. Vargas 3 strikeouts and a line out to Cano. Off-speed pitch. Boy, last night Felix and now tonight.
We talked about it with Vargas, the switch hitter. Whether it's right-handed or left-handed, if you can bury some breaking balls in the dirt, he will chase them.
Trevor Plouffe, runner at first, 0-2 pitch here to Vargas. And he chases. He's gone. That's the 4th time he struck out tonight. Wrap up this series in this homestand tomorrow. Our coverage begins at 12:30. Our CenturyLink What's Next. Kyle Gibson will go against Roenis Elias. Elias in 2014, 10-12 with a 3.85 ERA.
Going to bring up Nunez. He's done some damage tonight. A couple of RBIs and a run scored. It's 2 for 3 with a double.
Back safely. Way inside. Mariners in the bottom of the 8th will have Cruz, Seager, and Morrison 4, 5, and 6. Two and 0. Mariners straight away for Nunez. Big rip, 2-1.
He ended up hitting the helmet of Zunino on his follow through. Let's take a look and see where the follow through of the bat ends up hitting Mike. Ended up getting a piece of his glove.
Right field for Ruggiano coming over. And he makes the play. 2 out to the man at first here in the top of the 8th. Mariners down 8-5. Bring up Kurt Suzuki, the catcher. He's 1 for 4 with an RBI. 5th inning single, drove in a run. Wolf at first. Lefty keeping an eye on him. Way outside. Ball 1. Mariners outfield Weeks, Jackson, and Ruggiano. The infield Seager, Bloomquist, Cano, and Morrison, and Zunino behind the plate. Vicky, the 5th pitcher this evening. Long time ago, James Paxton started, went 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 earned. And Licky will get out of this. See the bats go to work. Bottom of the 8th. Mariners down by 3. It'll be Nelson Cruz leading off, followed by Kyle Seager and Logan Morrison.
look at some more photos sent to us. Hashtag where I root, from one lefty first baseman to another. Thanks, Slow-Mo. Nice gift for that young Mariners fan. Father and son combo here watching the Mariners at home. Pop's watching with his little slugger. Thanks for sending that terrific photo in. He's going to be a Mariners fan for a long, long time. Look at this. 3 generations of Mariners fans at this ball game. Tracy, thanks for sending that photo in. And look at those lovely young ladies enjoying their time. All smiles here at Safeco Field. Ashley Burns, thanks for shipping that to us as we send it back upstairs to Dave and Mike.
Thank you, Tom. Casey Fiend takes over. 3 batters, 3 different pitchers here by Paul Molitor. Shane Robinson moves into left field, and Jordan Schaefer to center field now for the Twins. Strike 1. To Nelson Cruz, who's 0 for 5 against Fiend. Staying away from that power. We saw Cruz hit a ball hard down the first baseline, scoring 2 runs for the Mariners. There's Jordan Schaefer in center. Ran down 2 gappers last night. Very impressive.
For the Twins, only a couple of relievers left. As you mentioned, Dave, Paul Molitor emptying the bullpen out. The lefty Perkins and the right-hander Graham. That's it.
2-1 to Cruz. They get 3-1. To Cruz. Kyle Seager on deck. Takes a strike, 3-2.
Looks as if Nelson was taking that pitch all the way.
Paid off. Cruz, Seager, Morrison here in the 8th. Mariners have chipped away the last couple of innings. They got a run in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. 2-run homer in that 7th inning by Austin Jackson. 3-2 to Cruz. High, towering fly ball. It's going to stay in the yard. Will it stay fair or foul? And it just gets into the seats.
Good effort by Robinson, who started in center field, now in left field. Trying to go into the seats and make the catch, but just out of his reach.
Boy, I got his touch, and he might have had a shot.
Well, Nelson Cruz appreciates it. How about that?
Yes, indeed. In the Bartman territory down there. 3-2. Taking a look is Vargas. No play. So last night we saw complete games by both teams. Tonight both teams have combined to use 11 pitches. 11 pitches. 6 for Minnesota and 5 for the Mariners. Do it again at 3-2 to Cruz, leading off the 8th. Time call. Two pitch. That appears to be playable and is into the night sky. Getting under it as Plouffe makes the catch. 1 out.
Nelson is not happy. He had a number of fastballs to hit. Wasn't able to cover him up.
Brings up Kyle Seager. 0 for 2 with a sac fly. His 10th run batted in. Broken ball for a strike. Twins scored in the first inning. A bases loaded walk to Nunez. Cruz put the Mariners ahead. 2-run double in the first. Since then, Twins 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. Mariners answer with 1 in the 7th. Both teams scored twice. Make that 1 run in the 6th, and then both teams scored twice in the 7th inning. It was 8-5 score. Casey Fiend, here in the 8th, 1-2 to Seager.
Nobody getting loose in the Mariner pen, so Lucas Lipke will come on, pitch the top of the 9th. Carson Smith had been up earlier.
Casey Fiend in his 4th season with the Twins. 1-2 pitch outside. 2-2. Fiend 6'2", 212, 31 years old. Santa Rosa, California. Lives in Buena Park, California. Was with Detroit 2009 and 2010. Off the fist, Plouffe is right there. Two outs, and that'll bring up Logan Morrison, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Morrison 0 for 1 against Casey Fiend.
Logan hit his first home run of the season in last night's ball game. He didn't even check in with a base hit.
First pitch, Lomo. And there for a strike. Here's the 0-1. Missed outside. Trying to rally to go 5-3 in this homestand with one more game tomorrow before taking off for Texas and Anaheim. 1-2.
Good changeup from Fiend. Basically has stayed with his fastball and breaking ball. And that was an 85-mile-an-hour changeup on the outside corner.
On for Lomo, 1-2. Time for some luck to start going Logan's way. Homered last night. First of the season. Has hit the ball hard. At least twice the ball game. Right at somebody. Pitch outside, 2-2. Two pitch. Shane thought he had him. Counts run full. Ricky Weeks on deck. Entered the game as a pinch hitter for Ackley in the 7th and flied out to right. Three-two pitch to Lomo. Writes it off. Temperature down to 52 degrees here in Seattle. Feels colder. 3-2. Fly ball. Left field. Robinson makes the catch, and the Mariners are gone in the 8th. Here comes the 9th inning. And the Mariners trail 8-5. Middle game, 3-game set here at Safeco Field. Eduardo Escobar will lead off against Lucas Litke. Will be followed by Shane Robinson and Brian Dozier. Home run back in the 4th for Escobar. Fouled it off. Glenn Perkins, their closer. And the All-Star team last year got a chance to pitch at Target Field in Minneapolis. Swing and a miss. Dandy pitch by Lucas Litke. Earlier in this ball game, as we show you our Big Fish Casino Big Catch, I need this foul ball. I gotta have this foul ball. I got a box of popcorn in my hands, a bucket. Hey, try anything, right? And let there be popcorn from the heavens.
I'm thinking he's been sitting there for a couple of innings, just waiting to throw that bucket of popcorn in the air.
That is funny. Second strikeout for Litke brings in the Shane Robinson. RBI single to center back in the 7th. 3-0 to Shane. Had a good night. 2 hits. 2 for 4. Three and 1. On deck, second baseman Brian Dozier. Three and 2. The 5th pitcher tonight, Paxton, Leon, Olson, Medina preceded him. 3-2. 1 out walk. Second walk issued by Litke, and a leadoff walk in the 8th, and was able to get out of it. Strike out a fly ball and a comeback.
It's been part of the problem for the Mariners. That's a 7th walk in the game.
We got 2 of them scoring so far. Problematic indeed. Time called. Dozier. One of those walks back in the 6th. He's had a good night. 2 hits, scored 2 runs, driven in a run. Jumps on this one. Ricky Weeks going back. Makes the play. So 2 outs here in the 9th. We'll bring up Torrey Hunter.
All that outfield work that Ricky has put in, paying off. Pretty good for a guy that's been playing second base throughout his career.
11 years, you bet. Torrey Hunter 1 for 4, an RBI double. Runs scored plus a walk. Foul back. So Litke ahead of Torrey Hunter 0-2 with a man at first, top of the 9th. Mariners down by the count of 8-5. Final third of the order will be coming up for Seattle. Getting picked off. Throw in time, got him out. 1-3-4. That'll do it for the Twins in the 9th. Coming up for the Mariners in the bottom of the 9th, down 3, Ricky Weeks, Mike Zunino, and Willie Bloomquist.
post-game presented by Delta Airlines. We'll hear from skipper Lloyd McClendon. We'll get the latest on Hisashi Iwakuma's health, and we believe Roenis Elias will start tomorrow in place of Iwakuma. Dave Valley will preview the series and homestand finale against the Twins here tomorrow afternoon. Let's send it back to Dave and Mike.
All right, Tom, thank you. Glenn Perkins, they're going to have to get it done against one of the better closers in the game. All-star last season.
Well, he's one of the reasons why Lloyd McClendon was comfortable putting his right-handed hitters off the bench in the game a little bit earlier tonight, and they're going to come up here in this inning in the ninth. 1.5 ERAs, 3 for 3 in save opportunities this year. Opponents hitting 182 in 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. Hasn't walked anybody. Good fastball and a slider.
Got 86 saves the last 3 seasons. Glenn Perkins. Strike one to Ricky Weeks.
Ricky won at bat. Flew out to right field.
Drive deep to left. Hanging up. And it's caught.
Run down nicely by Robinson.
I think he ended up getting a hanging breaking ball, probably the slider, and hits it out to left field. Robinson makes a catch right in front of the fence.
Not quite enough. One away here in the Mariners' bottom of the ninth. Mike Zunino, the hitter. And he looks at a strike. Mike 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored. One to Mike. Perkins, a Minnesota boy all the way, born in St. Paul, lives in Lakeville. Nino trying to get on board. Two and two.
He has a good fastball this evening. Last 3 fastballs he's thrown 95 miles an hour.
Two pitch. Struck him out. 2 away. Nobody on. That'll bring up Willie Bloomquist, who's 4 for 13 with a home run against Glenn Perkins.
Willie hit the ball hard his first time up. Unfortunately, it was right at the center fielder for a line out.
Pitch to Willie in there for a strike. Perkins 6th in the American League in saves last year with 34, 1 behind Joe Nathan. Dribbler. Willie digging, and he's going to make it. Base hit.
Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, trying to make the barehanded play on Willie. It's the only play he had. Wasn't able to get it. That'll be an infield hit for Willie. We'll also bring up Austin Jackson, who's having a good night, as you see this go off the end of the fingertips of Plouffe. Austin Jackson 2 for 4 tonight with a double and a home run.
Bloomquist takes second on a difference. First pitch to Jackson for a strike. Jackson 3 for 5 career against Glenn Perkins. Eight-5 ball game, 2 outs. Looking down low for 1-1. One off, 1-2. Mariners down to their last strike. Perkins ready. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. Minnesota Twins strike away from victory. 1-2 pitch. Way upstairs. Nice save by Suzuki. 2-2.
We have Ruggiano on deck. He's already doubled in the ball game.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. He's been putting up a good fight. Two. Bouncing ball to Plouffe. Takes his time, throws across, and that'll do it. Twins win it 8-5. Twins, a team struggling, 28th in runs, 29th in hits coming into tonight's game. They bang out 8 runs on 10 hits. Take advantage of some sloppy play and a lot of walks by the Mariners tonight.
7 walks for the Mariners tonight, and 3 errors didn't help. So the Mariners helping them out early in the ball game. And once again, James Paxton only going 4 2/3. Gave up 4 runs. Only one of them earned. It was a solo home run. The Mariners have to bounce back quickly tomorrow. 1 o'clock game.
Mariners home.